emphasizes more. It becomes almost a mantra of the ego. You have to have more. And the more you have, the more you are aware of how much other people are trying to take it away from you. The more you get consumed with how do I protect it and how do I make more of what I have. The dilemma here is that if you are what you have and things go away, then who you are also goes away in the process.
Going somewhere?
Yeah, I thought I'd come with you.
Why?
Why not?
Because this is a work thing. I'll be in meetings all day tomorrow. I'll have nothing to do.
Doesn't matter if you're busy. I'll go shopping or something. I'll be fine. Hi. Sorry, we won't be needing you after all. Thanks, you can go.
What are you doing?
Come on, it'll be a beautiful drive. Which car should we take?
You are not coming, and I do not want to drive. I want to be driven because I have work to do.
Okay, well then I'll drive. Let's take the Porsche.
Denise, the place I'm going, it's not the kind of place you're used to. It's rustic.
I think I can handle it, Chad. I know how to rough it.
You know, I don't understand the sudden desire to spend time together.
I just want to get away. Would you prefer I got my own room?
Okay, what's wrong with you?
Maybe I'm interrupting something.
Oh, come on.
Are you meeting someone out there?
Of course not. Look, I don't even want to go to this thing.
Well, then, all the more reason I should go with you.
You're not going to fit all those bags in the Porsche.
Why don't you help me try?
The second aspect of the ego is this idea that I am not only what I have, but I am what I do as well. We are... You gonna get that?
No, please, go ahead.
Oh, it's all right. No
While we're
problem.
stopped here, do you want anything, Dr. Dow? You want water or anything?
No, I'm fine.
Still rolling, guys. We're cutting. What?
Oh, keep rolling. Please.
So, second component of this ego is the idea that not only is who I am what I have, but it's what I do. And what I do becomes this thing called achievement. And in this whole world of believing that I am what I do, we become consumed with this whole idea of my success, my value, my worth as a human being is based upon how much I accomplish. So I have to make more money, I have to get a promotion, I have to compete with everybody else who's trying to get what I have. We are taught this over and over and over again. All of our young people are taught this when they go out into athletics. The most important thing you can do is be number one, and you say, we're number one, we're better than everybody else. And we constantly find ourselves in this competitive notion again of believing that our world is one in which we have to compete. That's what the ego says. Now, the third aspect of this is the idea that I am what other people think of me. That is, I am my reputation. Particularly, this is relevant for young people who are taught that you have to dress the way other people think, and if other people don't like you, then there's something wrong with you. If you're consumed with that, then you're going to be something different every time you turn around. Now, this is particularly relevant with women, and especially in relationship to the family. Women are often taught in our culture and our society that the only way that you can fulfill yourself is by how you relate to your family, to yourself as a daughter, to yourself as a mother, to yourself as a grandmother. And while these are very important and creative aspects of every woman's life, if that's the choice that they make, it's not necessarily the only thing. And many women feel that deep within them that they have a calling to accomplish something great, to make a contribution. And oftentimes we'll put it aside. So what I encourage women to think is, don't ignore that calling inside of you. Don't ignore the part of you that says you came here to create something powerful, and you have just as much of an influence in doing that, just as much of a right to do that as anyone else does.
Sure, I saw that one too.
I wonder if I can get the whole collection on DVD.
I think that might be a possibility.
You know what my favorite episode is?
I don't.
Kick the Can.
Now that is a good one.
You know, when all the old people become young again.
Yes, heartbreaking, isn't it?
You know, the other episode I like is the one where...
You know what, I'd like to check in.
I'm sorry. Are you with the wedding?
No.
There's a wedding? People actually get married here?
Yeah, all the time.
I'm not criticizing it. I think it's charming.
Chad Moore. More development?
Yes?
Ethan Lipton. I used to work for your company a few years ago.
Oh, right, yeah.
Yeah, in accounting.
Yeah, sure.
Darling, we'll talk later, okay?
Okay, good.
Oh, be sure to tell the guys to show up on time tomorrow night at the rehearsal dinner. This whole weekend is going to be a continuous celebration of love.
Well, I do like love.
Well, that's why I'm in this business. Bye.
Are you getting married?
No, I'm with the band.
Oh, well, have a fun weekend of love.
You guys too.
Do you remember that guy?
Not at all.
Hi there.
Hey, see, I'm checking in. The House of something.
Promise and hope.
Promise it. Chad Moore. I'm on the board.
Welcome to Asilomar, Mr. Moore. We have you in north of Longviews. If you go out the door and to your left...
My wife has joined me unexpectedly, so could we get one of the larger rooms?
You don't have to tell him that.
Well, they weren't expecting you. You were unexpected.
Just one of the nicer rooms would be wonderful. Thank you. I'm not used to camping.
Camping. That's funny, Denise.
Let me see what I can do for you.
There's so much stuff we can do.
Oh, that'd be cool.
Where are the kids?
Huh? Oh, Ethan.
Whoa. Jack, Ethan, come over here.
Come on.
Come on! Get over here!
Here, troopers. Take you and go with your mom. Stand on my toes.
Yeah, and also something away from all the noise would be nice.
I do have a room on the first floor in the lodge building.
Yeah,
No,
something higher.
Of course, Mr. Moore. Do have a room on the second floor.
Higher than that, please.
I'm afraid that's about as high as we go here.
You're kidding. What a waste of real estate.
I think you'll like this room. It has a balcony.
All right, if you say so.
Give me a second.
Give that to your mother. Give that to your mother. You heard her. Hand it over.
I said we were going to be unplugged this whole weekend.
Do you guys just want to go home?
No, we're not going to go home. It's no fun. Come here. Let's stand with me. Here, jump on my feet. Jump on my feet. I'll lift you up.
There's no way we can have all these meetings with these kids running around and screaming.
Have a great stay.
Look, I don't need to be having this conversation right now. I don't have time for this. I can't deal with this right now.
We move into then the later parts of the ego, which talks about something called separation. And the ego has a very strong belief system that who I am is separate from everybody else. And then another component of the ego teaches us that I'm also separate from everything that's missing in my life, from all the things that I'd like to have. And then finally, the ego teaches us the most egregious error of all. It teaches us that we are separate from God. And one of the simple constructs that you learn in the afternoon of your life when you shift into the meaning phase of your life is to realize that you came from a source. We can call it God, we can call it Tao, it doesn't matter what we call it. And that this source is everywhere. There's no place that it is not. It must be because it creates everything. Everything comes from this source. Then it must be in me. If there's no place that it's not, it must be in me. And if it must be in me, it must also be in whatever it is that I feel to be missing from my life. If you know that, then in some way, everything that's missing from your life that you would like to have, you're already connected to it in spirit. And all you have to do is figure out a way to align yourself with that and have a knowing that you're already connected to it. You just have to bring it on its way. And the way that you think and process.
What was that out loud?
Yeah, you just said that out loud.
Sorry.
That's okay.
Sorry,
it is
go
intense. There's no question about it. It's very intense.
Please continue.
Okay. I was saying that as we move into the afternoon of our life, we take the same ego constructs that we learned in the morning of our life, which is all about competition, winning, being better than everybody else, and we try to apply these same constructs to the afternoon of our life. And what happens is we end up living a lie. For what was true in the morning, in the evening, has become a lie. The problem is we don't really know how to move into the meaning phase of our life. This is when we have to learn to go back to those first 9 months, from the moment of our conception until the moment of our birth. Lao Tzu speaks about this in the Tao Te Ching. Let yourself be lived by it. He says that the Tao does nothing. It's leaving nothing undone. This is where we have to get to a place where we can surrender and have a knowing that we're not alone and that we're going to be guided and that we have a nature and that we can trust in this nature. It's not something that we have to always be struggling with. It's not something we have to be in charge of. Literally, think about it. Let yourself be lived by it rather than you taking over. But as we move into the meaning phase of our life, what's happening is we begin to think about fulfilling a dharma, fulfilling a destiny, fulfilling something inside of us, a calling that only we can feel inside of us. No one else can tell you what that is. But if you feel it and you know it, winning and being ahead of other people takes a back seat to feeling fulfilled and living your life on purpose.
No! Ethan! Don't throw sand!
Hey, we got anything to drink?
Juice box.
Sure.
I'm gonna go back and get some more sunscreen.
Really? We got clouds.
No, they can still get burned.
Okay. You gonna walk back?
Yeah, I'll be fast.
Well, we can wrap it up here.
No, look at them. They're having so much fun. I don't want to drag them away. I'll be right back.
Okay. You got some great stuff.
Well, I think it was a good start. I think it really was. I think you're going to see this thing come together in some unexpected ways. You're going to be surprised. You really are.
Directors don't like surprises.
Well, you're in for some. Great.
I'll see you in the morning.
I look forward to it. Thanks for everything. It was great.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys. Thanks for everything. Yeah.
Thank you.
You're welcome. See you later. Yep.
Okay.
See you tomorrow.
Thank you.
Amazing, isn't it?
Yes, it is.
Looks like they're reaching for each other.
Sorry?
Well, the trees, it looks just like they're reaching for each other.
Yeah, you're right. It does.
The whole place. It's like a different painting every day.
You know, you're very fortunate to work here.
I know. Hey, you want a lollipop?
Excuse me?
It's root beer. You like root beer?
Actually, I do.
It's root beer, but with a little bit of licorice.
Thank you. I like it. I like everything about this place.
Like what? What do you like about it?
I don't know, it's just, it's so beautiful. I can't describe it.
In words, yeah.
I guess so.
I mean, words versus images.
Images?
Pictures.
No, don't do that either. I used to. When I was in college, I used to drive down to the beach and I'd sketch for hours. Oh well, doesn't matter anyway.
Oh well.
Hey, Mom, where you been?
What?
We got cold. You eating a lollipop?
I am.
You got any candy for the kids?
No, I'm sorry.
That's all right.
Let's go back.
Come on, buddy. Let's go. Yeah. All right. It's okay. Here. You want a lollipop?
I don't get it, to be honest with you.
That really doesn't surprise any of us, David.
Seriously, if I didn't have ambition, nothing would get done.
Is that supposed to be a comment about us?
You have a napkin, please.
You know what I mean. Like we're supposed to sit around and wait for things to happen to us magically.
There's nothing wrong with a little magic in life.
I can't trust magic. What I can trust is my own will to get things done. That's my main problem with Dr. Dyer's saying?
Okay, he's right there. You want to keep it down?
He didn't hear me.
Dr. Dyer, you want to come join us?
Sure, I'd love to. How you guys doing?
Great.
Good.
This chicken's great. Good, good. So, Dr. Dyer.
Yes.
We were all just discussing your
Right.
first interview and all those things you said. And basically, David thinks that it's all BS.
What? David? Yes, really?
I don't think all of it is. I mean, I'm entitled to my own opinion, right?
Absolutely, you are entitled to your opinion, and I respect it. And you know, David, you don't have to get this all at once. You know, just get a little bit at a time. That's all it takes. You know, you just start practicing it. Eventually, it becomes a way of life, and you start living from a different perspective.
I'm not really a spiritual person. I'm too busy.
Yeah, spirituality is kind of like a luxury.
That is true. I find it hard to find time to meditate.
Let me ask you this. Do you think that you're an inspired person? Do you live an inspired life? Do you feel inspired?
I have no idea.
Really? Well, let's take an example. Let's supposing I had an apple pie that we had just made. And out of this apple pie, we take one slice. We take the rest of the pie, put it over here, and I take this slice and I give it to someone. Let's say I gave it to you, Ron, and I say, Ron, what is this?
That's an apple pie.
How do you know that? How do you know it's an apple pie?
Because it came from an apple pie.
So, well, you laugh, but I mean, the truth is that's a very profound statement that you just made, that everything in the universe must be like what it came from. You take an acorn and you'll never get a rose bush out of it. You look at yourself and you ask yourself the question, where did I come from? Who am I and what am I like? You know, instead of making our choices out of the place that we really are, our authentic self, we're making them out of the ego. And every time we make choices out of the ego, all kinds of things begin to happen to us that take us away from finding meaning in our lives.
How do you know if you're making a choice from your higher self?
You gauge everything on the basis of how you feel. Are you stressed out? Are you anxious? Are you fearful? Are you angry? Do you feel good about yourself? Do you feel like you're on purpose? Do you feel like your life has any meaning? When you're operating out of the only part of yourself that is authentic, bliss is your response.
But what about the upside of ambition? I mean, I'm a filmmaker, and if I didn't, doesn't ego serve me? I mean, if I was going with the flow, I'd never get a movie made.
That's a conclusion that you come to because you think out of the ego. You know, the fact is that you might even be able to make much greater films if you came out of a higher place. Imagine yourself as being able to live and work and do everything that you do from this place that, well, it's called Dharma.
What's Dharma?
Dharma is a spiritual principle that implies there is a purpose to our lives. Like an otter has a dharma, a bird has a dharma. Everything has a purpose. And when you find yourself living from that purpose, you have found your dharma. Your dharma is something that you will be living by. And rather than constantly using the ego, you will begin to say, this is what I'm here for. It's like, I call it a calling. It's like an inner calling.
How do you know what your dharma is? Like, what if you can't even find your dharma?
Yeah, I can't even find a date, let alone my dharma.
Well, your dharma isn't anything you're ever going to find. Your dharma is something that you're always connected to. It is your divine purpose. It is something that you are aligned with throughout your entire life. The ego has kept us away from it.
Excuse me, I have to take this. This is what I'm talking about.
I'm sorry to interrupt. How does this help me find a date exactly?
You don't need to find a date. If you live what I'm talking about, you'll understand that everything will be perfect and everyone that comes into your life will come in on time perfectly. You're a divine creation of God. You're a spiritual being. You don't need anyone else to confirm that.
I love that. It's true. Dr. Dyer said it was.
It is true.
You know, I don't want you to think that I don't appreciate what you're saying. I do. Not that you would necessarily be concerned with what I'm saying, because that's the ego telling you what to think, right?
So you were listening?
Yeah, I'm listening. I just think it's good to have a plan.
Well, what's your plan?
To be a successful filmmaker. make a name for myself, to make money, to have a good relationship.
So you're talking here about prosperity, you're talking about abundance, you're talking about happiness. I haven't any problem with that. I've been attracting abundance and prosperity into my life forever. I think it's actually quite easy to do. I really believe in it.
For you?
Well, you know, the problem what you're talking about here is the ego. The ego and your attachments. You know, you become attached to you know, how much money you're making and how well your film is doing and is everything working the way I've been told that it should work. When you become attached to things and they go away, you then lose who you are.
But it feels so much like survival.
We're not talking about survival here. We're talking about a shift away from the morning of your life and having to do everything for external reasons and moving into a higher place in your life.
Why don't we start with that tomorrow? How to make this shift?
It's a good idea. You know, I tell my audiences all the time that if this is something new to you and you've never heard it before, there's a shift probably heading your way as well.
Ha! That's all I need.
It could happen. When great thinkers talk about union with God, there's this theme that comes through. It's about being in silence. When everyone else is asleep and there are no distractions, when you feel yourself alone with Source. This is the time when you are closest to Source. Being alone with Source is not just about feeling good, it's about a new awareness of my own divinity and what it's capable of achieving. It's all about returning back to the place that you came from. T.S. Eliot has a great quote, "We shall not cease from exploration, and the end of all our exploring will be to arrive where we started and know the place for the first time."
I got a cut.
Wayne, hold there for a minute. Hold there, Wayne, for a second. What is it?
It's a bad angle. I gotta be lower.
How long?
5 minutes.
Wayne, take 5. Just hang there. We're readjusting the shot.
Absolutely, no problem.
You want some water, Dr. Dyer?
No, thanks. I have an ocean here.
Finish that test real quick.
Hi, you've reached the office of Alex Chase at ICM. Please leave a message for Alex or Jason at the tone. Thanks.
Alex, it's David. Call me back when you get this. I'm getting a little antsy. I think we should have heard by now. What did the executive say? Do you know anything? And why haven't I had a meeting yet? Yeah, call me back. I'd appreciate it.
Wayne Dyer interviews day 2.
Rolling.
Okay, we'll start with the transition from ambition to meaning.
Great, it's a good idea. I can give you an example from my own life. It might be helpful. When I first started writing, I was very blessed to be considered, quote, successful. My motivation very often became how much money was I going to make on this book? What was my next contract going to look like? How many weeks did it appear on the New York Times bestseller list? What position was it? Did you get on the Tonight Show? Did you get on the Donahue Show?
Hold on, I'm confused.
Yeah?
Yeah, if you were a success, who cares what was motivating you?
Well, I guess you begin to change your definition of what it is that constitutes success. I mean, success can be identified in those terms, and there are other ways to look at it as well.
But there's people listening to you. I mean, where would you be if you didn't initiate it? I mean, it got you started, right?
I'm sorry to interrupt. Are we switching to a Q&A format?
I'm just curious. Sorry.
No, that's okay. It's a very normal question. It's a very common concern that people have. For myself, we talked about my writing, David, and yes, by all means it was successful, but there was a part of me, inside of me, that said, there's something more for me. I was writing books about psychology, your erroneous zones, pulling your own strings, the sky's the limit. All of them were doing well. All of them were bestsellers. It was all. But inside of me, I was shifting. there was a calling to something else, and I could see the shift taking place in my life. And the shift was, it was more in the direction of spirituality. It was more in the direction of higher consciousness. I began to become excited and thrilled by reading people like Krishnamurti, by reading people like Muktananda. And I remember going to my agent and I said, I want to write a book about how to take some of these great spiritual ideas. He said, no. You're going to write a book about sex. He said, this is going to sell. This is like Dr. Ruth has got one, but you're way better than Dr. Ruth, you know, and he's going on and on. And he said, and then I've got a second book for you, and we're going to do a 2-book deal, and you're going to write a book about how to make money. You know, Wayne Dyer's approach to making money. And I'd say, Artie, I said, I can't do that. I said, I have to write about it. He said, no, nobody's going to buy this stuff. He said, that's the airy-fairy stuff. That's out there. That's all that new agey stuff. He said, you don't want to. I said, but I have to write that. That's what I'm living. That's what I'm feeling. It's so exciting. And I remember submitting the proposal to him, and he said, all right, I'll send it in. And they didn't give me much of an advance at all because they didn't even believe in it. But off I went. There was a strong inner kind of feeling that I had something greater to give. I had something that I had to do that was beyond just going through the motions, just doing what I had already mastered, what I knew how to do. I remember when I made the shift, even though there was a little bit of fear, I remember feeling probably the freest that I'd felt ever in my life. I wasn't motivated by whether people are going to buy it, how much money I'm going to make, whether people are going to put me on a bestseller list. Those became external kind of factors. Those became things that started to chase me rather than me chasing it. Basically, I think, David, what I'm trying to say to you is that you get to a place in your life where you start to be guided by something that's larger than yourself. Just stay aligned with what you're here for and stay in harmony with Spirit, with God, with Source. Stay there. And as you stay there, the meaning phase of your life begins to take over. And once you cross over into the afternoon of your life, it's impossible to go back.
Wait, Monday? You can't keep telling me Monday. If it was coming through, you would come through like 5 Mondays ago.
Well, we can take a pause here for a second.
You are not telling me this right now. What do you mean? They're replacing me? You don't know what to tell me? This movie meant everything to me. I bought them this movie! It's my movie! This movie meant everything to me! Damn it!
Okay, this would be a great place to break.
Is he okay, you think?
I think he's gonna be fine. Let's just call it lunch. Okay. Everybody get something to eat, okay? And then, as soon as I...
Lunch is 1/2 hour. If anybody is interested in the Marin County project,
Hey, you up for a late game of golf?
Oh, absolutely.
Okay, I'll reserve it.
Thanks. You know how long this meeting's going to last after lunch?
I don't really know. I think they're saving some of the big items until the end.
Like what?
Well, they're $1 million down in the San Francisco project. The contractor underbid, now they're over budget.
You know what? Listen, you can catch me up on all that stuff this afternoon. We play golf.
You're not coming back?
Oh, no, I am. I'm going to try. I just, got a lot of work to do.
See you later.
Okay.
Good book?
Not bad. I'm sort of a slow reader, but it's being patient with me.
You said you worked for my husband?
A long time ago. I don't think he remembers me.
Oh, I think he remembers you.
Well, he let a bunch of us go all at once, because, you know, he needed to scale back.
Sorry about that.
Hey, it's okay, truly. It's one of the best things that ever happened to me. I needed to try some different things, pursue some other avenues.
Like your music.
Like my music, yeah.
Well, it sounds like your story has a happy ending.
Not yet, I hope.
No.
Don't rush me now.
No, that's not what I meant. I meant you seem happy.
Well. Hey, you know what? You and Chad ought to come to this party that we're playing at tonight.
Oh, thanks anyway.
Yeah, come on. It's supposed to be a continuous celebration of love. Isn't that what she called it?
Oh, yes, I think she did.
Okay, so you guys have to be there to help us continuously celebrate.
I can't crash a party.
I just invited you.
You can't invite us.
Too late. Sorry. Happened.
No. Thanks, though. I'll see you around.
Okay. Wear something comfortable.